Thank you, David, and congratulations, Joe. Up next, to introduce our next honoree, please give a warm welcome to Carol Young-Holt.
Good evening, everyone. I can't see you, but it's nice to know you're all there. I'm a longtime member of the board of directors of Puente de la Costa Sur, which means the bridge of the South Coast. And in Spanish, that's what it means, bridge. In a small community, it's easy enough to make a splash, but there's a greater inspiring and promoting, there's a greater art in inspiring and promoting the splashes of others. With graceful, honed leadership, Kerry Lobel, the honoree I'm introducing, supports myriad ways for the residents of the South Coast to become full participants in their own community. Kerry first volunteered at Puente nearly 12 years ago, accepting the role as executive director in 2007 at a crucial time in the development of this small nonprofit agency in her own community. Kerry brought a resume of nationally recognized leadership and service in nonprofit organizations that address the needs of people who live on the margins of society. In the past 5 years, she has focused her considerable experience on our surprisingly remote and underserved area, barely an hour from Silicon Valley. This countryside south of Half Moon Bay is 90% of the regional area of San Mateo County. It goes all the way down to Santa Cruz and up to Skyline, but it's only 1% of the population of San Mateo County. Our community lacks a laundromat, let alone healthcare services. Housing is scarce and expensive, and for some, that housing doesn't even have clean water. Many adults in our community work for low wages in the fields, in the nurseries, and in odd jobs. Summer school programs, already sporadic, ended several years ago, and too many of our children have never been to any of the recreational camps in our area that are home for summer camp for people over the hill. 15% of our populations receive monthly food from Second Harvest. With her extraordinary sense of possibility and the ability to encourage, Kerry leads now programs that actively engage youth and adults, mothers, families, and single men. Some of the hallmarks of Kerry's leadership include the following values: empowering others, a broad and positive vision for the future, patience and presence, making connections, and understanding what's basic. Kerry brings acute sensitivity to hearing and honoring all voices, walking the potentially uneasy path between an established culture and the immigrant labor it may depend on, the complications of pressing for fair housing and just treatment without making situations worse, supporting training and education while having high expectations, respecting cultural contexts and backgrounds that are at times mutually enriching and at other times uncomfortably at odds. Guided by the principle, first do no harm, Kerry gracefully allies Puente Resource Center with county agencies, schools, churches, businesses, farmers, ranchers, and all other small organizations on the South Coast. In a testament to one of Kerry's earliest impacts, 67 people throughout the Bay Area gathered on the first ever National Service Day on Martin Luther King's birthday several years ago. for Puente's playground cleanup day. Kerry's takeaway of that event: by working together, there's so much more we can do, not only to transform physical spaces, but the very society in which we live. Ever ambitious as Kerry moves forward, she's able to mobilize the very same adult learners and young workers she has already cultivated for the skills, confidence, and leadership to make dreams come alive in our community. In summary, Kerry's vision and skill enable true transformations in the lives of those who benefit directly from Puente's services, and in the Pescadero, San Gregorio, La Honda, Loma Mar community as a whole. It's my pleasure to introduce Kerry Lobel.
Thank you, Carol. I walk in very big footsteps. Carol has really laid a path for me and many others on the South Coast, and I want to thank her and my fellow Pescaderans, especially Greg Bonaparte, who is the chair of our Pescadero Municipal Advisory Council and also is on the PCT board, my partner Marta Drury, and also my fellow awardees. It's very hard to follow Carol, and I just want to say that Puente really believes in its name, the bridge, and I think we're at a really challenging time in the history of our country. And I think we feel it on the South Coast, but I think we feel it on the coast side. We see many values as coastsiders that we hold dear really challenged by the strains of our county and our state and our federal budgets, on our county and state and federal policies. And so the water that we love, the beaches and parks that we love, the highways that we're watching change, are really under attack by the financial constraints that mean that teachers don't have what they need to be able to teach our children, that farmers and flower growers are watching our very land and our very business being taken away by the globalization of food and flowers, that life as we know it, as a people on the coast, is changing around us, and it's our job, not just at Puente, but throughout our communities, to really look at what does the future hold. As Carol said, one of the things that we do at Puente is we work a lot with youth, and in fact, at any given time, we hire and work with about half of the students at Pescadero High School. And we've worked with a number of them long enough so that they're now going to be voting for the first time in November. And I remember with excitement when I voted for the first time. And I was also just turned 18. And it was very, very perplexing to me. So today, as I was running around trying to get ready to come here, one of my student colleagues, Javier, said, "You know, Kerry, I just don't know if I'm going to register to vote." I said, "Javi, why?" And he said, "You know what, I just don't think it can matter." And of course I stood up very tall. I'm like, "What did I teach you? Why are you saying that?" And he said, "You know, I'm just not so sure that one person really can make a difference." And of course we see this every day. And I'm one person in a sea of so many amazing individuals on the South Coast. And when Javi and I finished our conversation, he stood a little taller and he filled out his form. I can probably imagine how he'll vote, not sure. But I know that he's thinking about and he's caring about our entire community. He's caring about his fellow student who came here at age 3 months old, but because of the immigration policies in our country, will probably never be able to vote. He cares about the farmer that owns the land where he lives, even though that farmer charges him entirely way too much rent. But he understands that if that farmer goes out of business, so does his family's livelihood. He understands that we have to protect the ocean around us and not let trash affect the creatures that grow there. And he understands that because of people like you. People like you that run this wonderful television station and the policymakers that I know in this room. He knows that because we care to explain and because he cares to learn. So I want to thank each of you for your commitment to creating a safe space for all of our children, to creating a community that's healthy and sustainable, and for all that you do. Thank you so much.
Yeah.